So, today we're just taking a look back at the masterpiece that was Call of Duty World War II. There were so many things about this game that, like, even I forgot, honestly. Right here, we have the headquarters. And it was a place for people to come and basically exist with each other. You can come here, see your mail, come in, you could just shoot at the actual firing range that they had. And then you could come to Prestige. You could even do these really cool things where you could do like 1v1s with people, which is right here in the headquarters. And honestly, I feel like there were so many things about this game that people just kind of forgot. Also, excuse me if I sound a little strange because I'm currently dealing with like a tad bit of a sinus infection. But I mean, look at this. Right in here, we had a dedicated, dedicated like 1v1 right here. I am terrible with shotguns. Got him there. At least he didn't go uncontested, honestly. Can't be too upset there. But I mean, yeah. Call of Duty World War II had so many interesting little quirks. And I think it was really underappreciated. Like, there's so much about this game I feel like a lot of people didn't even know because like going back to the World War II setting. And I mean to an extent. It was honestly such a great game. But like, there was so much content. There were so many great things about that. I can't for the life of me understand. And thankfully, bringing it back to bringing it to Game Pass has brought a whole community back. I've seen so many new people come to the game, and then there have just been like a lot of quality of life updates. Unfortunately, on PC, I've heard there have been a lot of hacking issues, but genuinely, on console, which is what I'm currently playing on, everything seems to be the same as
We need reinforcements!
when I last played.
Team deathmatch. Eliminate the enemy team. Mission begins now. Remember your training.
See here.
Enemy recon aircraft observed. We have the momentum.
We had
Reinforcements.
do you think one of the poor choices that was made in the game, things like the Molotov cocktail were made into commercially? They didn't have so many of those anyway. But there were so many good things about this game. Like, I can't understand how the guy got as quick as it did. Currently using the Caravan as a semi-auto AR. But this game specifically, I feel like it brought back what Call of Duty was meant to embody. You're just supposed to be running and gunning. I feel like before this, that formula had kind of been lost for a bit. Because we had those futuristic jetpack games. We had the Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3.
Stop there, resupply.
And I think at this point even Infinite Warfare. I could be wrong there. You know, we had the jetpack games. And people just got tired of them. And it's completely understandable, you know, the quote-unquote advanced movement just didn't fit everybody, and that includes me.
We're winning the fight.
So it was so refreshing to go back to just that old run and gun style. And once again, it had its quirks. But there were a lot of things that were so good about this game. And there were things that were greatly underappreciated.
We have the momentum.
And for a while, I remember having such a dedicated community. Until it just did. To me, it had one of the most realistic zombies. The first time booting up and playing zombies on World War II. And it just being so creepy. Still got him. But you know, like,
We're losing the fight.
I remember booting up and playing for the first time and it just being so strange. And so different, because, I mean, yeah, what can you expect when the title is World War II, obviously. We're going back to the World War II setting, and, you know, I guess to some people that was also boring, because we had seen several of those at the time. We had World at War, and we had the original Call of Duty, things like that. So, you know, I guess people wanted something that wasn't exactly ridiculously modern or futuristic, but also they wanted something that was still running and gunning.
Enemy flamethrower on the battlefield.
So there were so many great maps, and all in all, I just feel like it was a great return to formula.
Our advance failed. Pull back to the MLR.
Now the prestige system here was a little different. Prestiging was not just your weapons and not just your player rank. When you were prestiging, you could prestige in different divisions. Prestiging in those divisions gave you different things that you could do. It gave you certain advantages when in combat. And like that was the first time I remember seeing anything like this. And to me, like, it was so cool. And it was different. You know? The formula had been changed and tweaked. But it wasn't so different that it was an unrecognizable game. It was something we could all recognize, something we could all get behind. And to me, all in all, it just feels so great. I guess this paved the way for more of your specialists and operators, but your perks weren't the same. Each division had different perks and things that they could do, and then you also had basic training, which went for all of your classes. Basic training could be applied to everything. And once again, it allowed you to have like different advantages over the competitors in the competition in the game. And there are maps here even I don't completely remember having played. I think the addition of permanent double XP was great. Because even as I played over the last couple of days since it came to Game Pass, it's like it's been really easy for me to be able to start leveling my guns up and like actually start putting a dent in my player progression.
We have the momentum.
Now the time to kill was a little different here. I feel like it was a lot faster. You know, you had your great weapons, your not so good weapons.
Keep this up.
But then almost all of your weapons could eventually be tweaked to be great. Everything could eventually become a decent and viable option in your combat. But then some of these maps were just so big that it was easy for people to hide. You had your campers, obviously, which you've seen in a lot of COD. You've just seen that throughout the series. People get comfortable in camping. But once again, you know, you had your moments where it was great to run around and just run and spray, run and take down part of the enemy's team.
We're being outmaneuvered.
And I was like, that was what we needed.
By the trolley!
And sorry if I stumbled over my words. This here was not a planned video. I didn't write a script or anything out. I've been playing the last couple of days. And after taking in a lot of the nostalgia, I just wanted to come and talk about this. There was no sliding here. You had diving. There was no sliding.
We have fire superiority.
And when you take into consideration, like we had just had, like I said, all the jetpack games with all of their ridiculous movement, it was nice to have people sliding around, flying around, and all of that. Like it was nice not to have all that.
Recon searching the target.
It's nice to be able to just know that you can run it and gun, which is what people were looking for in the series. Supply drops could be earned. From what I've seen, you could earn almost every item in the game through supply drops. Aside from, of course, your few special packs. But for the most part, almost every item in the game could be earned through supply drops.
Recon flight concluded.
You can go to COD HQ, or you can go through to the Quartermaster and start earning supply drops to get some of those rare, whether it be weapon skins, blueprints, or like your operator skins and things of that nature. You could earn almost every one of those things, which is great in contrast to nowadays when you're going through and you gotta pay for these different bundles and all these goofy skins. Whereas here, you could just earn anything they had in the game. And I feel you're gonna hear me say a lot of the same things. but genuinely, it's because of the love that I have for this game. I was probably about 12, 13 when this game came out. And I remember being that much younger, looking and seeing this game, like, being so confused at the time, because we had just come off of the jetpack games, and so I was lost. And even I remember having problems coming back to just the run and gun. Because to me, like, that hadn't been what Call of Duty was for almost a decade at that point. And so to see such a large shift in gameplay and go back to your simpler mechanics was so weird to me. But looking back now, I'm so glad that they did. Because in my opinion, this is one of the top 10 COD games of all time. And I think before they eventually the community on this game eventually died out, I remember it being loved so much. So it's like seeing resurgence in this game specifically has just brought me so much joy. But we're gonna play a couple more multiplayer games and then we're gonna get on to that.
Soldiers, head to the rear and rest up.
Okay, check that out. That was so inaccurate. But I do also remember some of this game not working properly when it first came out. Like, when you would first come out and you'd go, to the quartermaster, or when you'd go and try to get into that little, into the actual area, where you would go to the HQ and you would look around and try to be with people. For the most part, you'd just be in there all by yourself. For some reason, it wouldn't load other people in. You couldn't really do any of the things that you can do now. Like, at launch, that was broken. You couldn't really even go into multiplayer for the most part. At launch, the game was almost completely broken. And it took a couple of updates before that changed. And even now at points, like, you'll get stuck on a loading screen here and there when you go to Quartermaster. Or when you go to headquarters, sorry. Like, sometimes you'll just genuinely get, like, stuck. And it sucks because this game has now been out for almost 10 years. And so seeing this still partially broken does kind of irk me. But it's so nice looking over it now, finding entire lobbies, rather than when I looked a couple of years ago, it wasn't as lively.
Team deathmatch. Eliminate
And
all access
every
points.
time I start into a match and I start spectating, I start getting
Advance
worried
and
that
take
we're going to
position.
have another one of those bugs where when it first
Winning the
started
fight!
once again, you would load into a match, you get stuck in spectating mode. You wouldn't be able to actually play the match, you just get stuck in spectating mode until it eventually would kick you for an
We lost
activity.
the lead.
That guy's holding
We have the momentum.
that angle so hard.
We're losing the fight.
And some of the lighting is less than optimal.
We're breaking their backs.
People blend in a little too well at times with the surroundings. But I guess that's what makes it fun. Once again, you're actually having to find your enemies to try to take them out. And you're not just like looking over and catching them sliding off a wall.
We have fire superiority. We can't keep this up.
I know most people when they're doing this kind of thing, they're not actually playing while they're doing the talking.
We have the momentum.
But I don't normally really do scripts. That's just not my thing. Let's hope this guy is not
We're losing the
holding
fight.
this angle over here.
We have the lead.
Finally got him. But it was definitely different for its time. You didn't have as much customization in some ways as you did others. Like, don't get me wrong, there were still some customization options, but the focus on customization was nowhere near as heavy as it had been even just a year and a half prior. It was, I guess, a little
Enemy bomb incoming.
bare
Get
bones.
to cover.
For this era of COD, it was definitely bare bones.
Enemy recon aircraft observed.
But that's because it wasn't focused on being flashy. It was supposed to be another gritty World War II shooter. I think it did that very well. The guns before you got your camos on them, they look so gritty and like... Even compared to COD nowadays, I feel like the environments look a lot better. But you know, I guess some people probably would disagree. But to me, like, the environments looked a little more realistic. And it just, old COD had this charm to it that ever since, like, Modern Warfare in 2019, I don't feel like it has been able to be recaptured. Because now, if you look at it, a lot of the newer games are going back to the like cell shading and cartoony looks, and
Enemy mortar fire incoming! Clear the target zone! Dropping eggs on
they're catering to a more childish audience to a certain extent. Like they're trying to be all cartoony and have a specific glow to it, and you know that sells. This guy.
Enemy recon aircraft observed!
I just tried to go in for a finisher. I forgot that wasn't a thing. I even found myself trying to slide here and there, even though I know it's not a thing. But you know, like, I love the grittier feel. I love how it feels unpolished. And it looks like
Need
a
reinforcements!
war simulation to a certain extent,
Enemy
rather
bomb
than
incoming!
like
Get to cover!
nowadays you run of no Call of Duty,
We're winning the fight!
where everything looks like it's been drawn by
Enemy
children.
recon aircraft observed! Explosives ready!
There's also a certain skill gap.
Enemy
Like,
care package observed! Stop
you
the
had to have an
bomb.
actual level of skill to play COD World War II. Not everybody could get in and just play the game. Like, you actually had to be decent at first-person shooters before you could come in and try to actually build something from this game. Whereas I feel like nowadays, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can get into Call of Duty and start trying to play it and
Enemy recon aircraft observed!
brand themselves as movement demons, quote unquote. When all they're really doing is just like jumping, sliding, and almost floating across the map.
There's one in the other! I need a
And it feels so goofy. Like, as long as you know how to move, new Call of Duty is easy to play. Anybody can pick up a controller and start playing, whereas
Enemy recon aircraft observed!
at this point, you had to have an actual level of skill to be able to play the game. And that's not hating on anybody, that's not saying people are bad at the game. It's just, even with these new quote-unquote movement demons,
Enemy care package observed! Stop the resupply!
it doesn't take much skill to play anymore.
Break order! They are in full retreat!
Everybody's focused on getting a decent clip here and there, or trying to build a name from being great with the movement and having all that to their advantage. And you know, they got these special controllers and all those kinds of things. Whereas, like, looking back, all the way back in like Call of Duty 4 up to about here. And I would even go as far as Modern Warfare 2019 once more. You had to have a certain level of skill to be able to get into those games and be able to play those games well. The pros were actually decent at what they did. And that's not saying that they aren't now. But there was so much more that went into it. Whereas now, as long as you can press the button good enough, you can get away from your enemies, you can get into the game and be good at it. And it could just be me, I feel at the end of the day, I could just be speaking from a point of nostalgia, and I could be genuinely hating on the new age because it's not what I grew up with. Because I see so many people nowadays who are like, this isn't Call of Duty, and I honestly agree. What Call of Duty has become versus what Call of Duty was is two completely different things now. And so when I hear those rants and I hear those people who say, this was not Call of Duty back then, I wonder if maybe we're looking at it with those rose-tinted goggles. But the new age of Call of Duty is something that while I've played, it feels soulless now. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of love and care put into it.
Team deathmatch.
Whereas back in the day, they just had a certain polish to them.
Remember your training. Make us proud.
And now you look up and you go, oh hey, it's another Call of Duty game. And everybody's like, yeah, we expected that. Whereas, at this era, it was, oh hey, look, the new Call of Duty just dropped, and everybody was so excited, and you were loading up with your friends. You come home from school, and everybody would be so happy that the new COD just dropped. Whereas, like, now you expect it. You're waiting for it, you know it's going to come. By the end of the year, there will be another COD game. And so now it's not really as special as it once was. Because you know it's coming. Whereas, like, you used to have to sit around and wait, look for that next Call of Duty game that's coming.
We can't keep this up. We're breaking their backs.
There was a genuine level of excitement to it. Whereas you get through part of the cycle with these new games and you just go, oh hey, there's another one. Like you already know it's coming. By the end of the year, there'll be another one. So it's just not as special as it once was.
Care package descending. Protect the drop zone. Recon airborne. Searching for targets.
I just lost the care package.
Fire in the hole. Enemy counterintelligence aircraft observed. Recon flight concluded. Recon airborne. Recon aircraft destroyed.
You know, and certain people might not agree. Some people might enjoy the new Call of Duty's every year release. But for me, it takes away from what made it special. There used to be a level of there used to be a certain level of happiness that came when you knew the next Call of Duty was coming. Whereas now the community's sitting here kind of just like, can you guys slow down? I just bought the new one. And I feel the exact same way. Like, Black Ops 6 wasn't even out for 4 months before people were already leaking information on the next call. People were already looking at, oh, the release of Black Ops 7 will be here.
Enemy care package observed. Deny the enemy resupply.
It's like with that already on the horizon, it gives you less incentive to want to buy the current game.
Enemy bomb incoming.
But also, all of these new games just feel like DLCs. With every new COD that's dropped in the last 6 years, it feels like they're slightly unfinished and we're just waiting for the DLC to drop. And so you pay $60-$70 for a glorified DLC. Only to wait a year for the next DLC to drop. I hope one day Call of Duty goes back to what it was, but unfortunately I don't see it happening. And it's sad, it really is. There's always a chance that I could be in the minority. But I feel like everything that I've heard from the community in recent months, and even the last few years, is that the FPS scene as a whole has become oversaturated. There's so many of them. And, you look up and there's a new FPS game every few months.
Protect the DC.
There's always the new Call of Duty killer. Oh, this is gonna be the next Call of Duty. This is gonna be the next this.
Enemy
Next
bomb
that.
incoming. Get to cover.
As soon as it comes on,
Great work.
you kind of look over and you're like, oh, hey, it's just another Congress. And I feel like they have to do the game that there hasn't been competition with in years. Every supposed Call of Duty killer has come up, had a moment, and then died because they're trying to go up with a franchise that is well known through the community, but then also is so beloved by the people that play it that actually killing it is going to be much harder by other people than is the developers. The developers are basically taking the soul from this game. In my honest opinion. But it's just so much different. And I wish I could go back and change it. I wish it was different. But now we're going to move on to zombies, which I only have the final right. Because at the time when this game released, I was just a child who could not afford the DLCs. And to this day, I have never actually bought them. But the atmosphere in this was so much creepier than loading up anything after Black Ops 1 zombies. Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 zombies had a more polished feel to them. And so they weren't scary to me. They were even a little goofy at times. This brought back what was so scary about Call of Duty Zombies. I also want to take a second here and talk about the mods. There were so many mods here that could change the way your game played. And it was such a really cool and honestly interesting system. But to me it felt like a predecessor to what would eventually become what is now like your modifications to the perks that we have in like Black Ops 6. And like you had things like Pack Mule, which would allow you to carry a third primary off rip, whereas up to this point you had to go through and get Mule Kick. And we had things like Armored Up that would start you with 3 points of armor and things of that nature. Like this here was, in my honest opinion, one of the better systems for zombies. Once again, I know for the most part all I'm doing is just yapping, but this is just one of my all-time favorite COD games. Like look at even the loading screens. Like that's freaky. That's creepy. It sets the scene and makes you kind of take a moment of, oh wow. That's gross. To me, this embodies what zombies was supposed to be.
The whole town is deserted.
And your perks were now known as, blitzes. And you were no longer using points, you were using jolts. And you'd have your jump scares. And instead of a knife, you started with a shovel. And like, I can't be the only one who thought it was even more, like, I guess, what's the word? Even more immersive that when your shovel went in, you were decapitating them rather than just, oh, they're dead. Like, to me, it really brought some new level of immersion. When you'd hit them with the shovel and their head would come off. Whereas up to that point with the knife, you'd just stick it in and they'd fall over dead. Eventually we are going to get to that survival map. Maybe not today. Because I did just remember Groston House was unlockable. I forgot your jump scares could continue even after the rounds ended. And this, you could even come into matches with things to retrieve right in here once you'd open certain supply drops. Wow, leaving me the max ammo right after I've already gotten ammo for this. That's a bit ridiculous.
Damn. They make you pay for everything.
And then, if I remember correctly, this was the first time our Easter eggs were guided. And it kind of just walked you through what you need to do for the main Easter egg quest. And like, to me, that was interesting and that was new. And I know,
Earthquake?
to a certain extent, people hated on that as well. And people nowadays don't really care for it. But I think for people like me who wanted to do the Easter eggs, but had a hard time actually figuring out how to run through some of them, it was nice to have a guide and be able to like figure out what to do by just looking up at the screen and having notes there. Whereas up to this point, we've never really had guided Easter eggs. I feel like today they are a bit too guided. There's not enough mystery to them. But you even had your special abilities, like Shell Shock, that made going through some of this Easter egg a lot easier. And it made some of the experience a little bit easier to get through. And I know it was another thing that some people kind of hated. But it was a really cool addition at the time, and even now, like, I don't feel like it's focused on enough how much this game here really contributed to the change of the zombies mode as a whole. Go right next to that nuke. I lost that nuke, that's so sad.
That sounds like flies, but
Yo, drop a comment if you remember your first time playing through this Easter egg. I don't remember if you can get the wonder weapon out of this box. I honestly kind of doubt it.
looks like we'll need to reroute the power to get through. I'm short. Need more energy. These ghouls keep getting stronger. We're going to need something better than bullets to stop them.
Right now I'm just gonna kind of focus on trying to get back the punch open. But I do intend on actually like going through the Easter egg here. And getting the wonder weapon built. It's like there was just a certain level of creepiness and like overall just the aesthetic and the what is that? Just The overall atmosphere to this game was so much creepier than anything I think I had seen up to this point.
You hope to escape. You are too late. I caught the traitor just before
I don't even want to know what that is. That's one. Looks like there's another somewhere.
Because even up to this point, like, I think this game right here is by far still the creepiest to this day. Like, even right now, I find myself being slightly frightened of some of these zombies.
Oh, damn. This ain't right. There. I think we can get through now.
I still gotta make my way down to Pack-a-Punch. Yeah, because I don't know if anybody really remembers much, but you had to come over here and press a certain... You had to come over here and actually press a button. I know this wasn't our first Pack-a-Punch quest. There we go. Activate disposal 2. Because before I go down there and charge the hilt, I want to... work on getting the Pack-a-Punch actually open. I think I'm going to need all 3 of my guns packed before I can actually go through about trying to do this Easter egg. Because I remember the final boss is not only terrifying, but really hard. Actually, I don't even remember if I can do this all solo. If not, I guess my main objective is going to be trying to get as far as I can in the Easter egg. And now I think I gotta go all the way to the other side of the map to actually get the last one open. Something else that I do say, like I will say, I really like about this is the fact that like, once you finish a special round, it automatically gives you the max ammo. Whereas like you used to have to go and like pick up all the drops and whatnot. And even in the newer ones, you still have to, but like, here, not having to pick up max ammo after the end of a special round was honestly a lifesaver at points. I think come around 10, I should be looking for the special zombies. I'm also probably gonna need more perks before I finish the main Easter egg quest. I really hope I did not just completely fudge this. Especially because I think this is my quickest time with this. We'll go ahead and get double tap. Or you know, all the perk names here in German, and I speak German, but not well enough to actually have all that down. Alright, now I'm gonna need another 15,000 points before I go down into the salt mine at least. I honestly probably should have just meleeed. Let me go ahead and open this door. Just because I tend to get trapped in here sometimes. And look at all these guys pile up. So, actually, I'll probably need about 30,000 and not 30,000. Yeah, possibly about 30,000 because I also need more perks. What I really need is the Type 100 so I can turn that into the Chicago typewriter. See, like, that's so creepy. Like, knowing that you'd have a boss. Now, I think it's every 2 rounds another one of those things spawns in. It might actually be every round now. I just spotted another one.
The big ones can.
Shotgun done. And I just need another 5,000 points. I can go down to go down a salt mine. Hopefully I can get another full power. Charging the hilt is much easier when you have full power. Also, it wasn't recorded the other day, but I was actually breaking through the sea strike fairly early the other morning, and I kind of want to know why they would allow you to open the thing to raise the hilt while the hilt's not charged. Because I completely messed up an Easter egg run the other morning. Because I accidentally opened up the hilt. Like, the thing to bring up the hilt. And got stuck in my speed run. Well, my speed run, just like my Easter egg run.
God help me!
See, like, that's so creepy.
His head came clean off!
And I need him for his head. But even if I don't pick him up, I know that I'll get another one here in a couple more rounds. Man, those max samples are lifesavers.
That idiot Richter is still buzzing around in the store instead of helping me. I have to get rid of him.
Honestly, I think it's safe to go down and charge the hilt now.
I wonder what's down here. Is that a bomb?
Oh god.
The chamber was built around this. It won't budge. Kill the monsters near the light. Knock out. Something's blocking it from above.
I remember this part being so sketchy.
Looks like a weapon assembly station of some kind. Not working yet. Maybe it needs another component.
I'm looking for something here in the morgue. And honestly, I might have to like look up what that is, because it's been a very long time since I played this map. And I hate that I even have to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop for a second and look that up, because I can't even remember. Okay, so I gotta go back to the morgue. This is so freaky. I need to go back down here. Oh, okay, I need to go back to the... There's a button up here I gotta press, okay. This is so sketchy. Okay, so I gotta keep charging it.
The big ones can move. Knock out. I can feel the energy from all this. The goddamn ground is shaking. What's missing some parts? Is that a bomb?
Seriously? I am right here. Probably gonna have to make my way back down to Pack-a-Punch so I can get some ammunition. Okay, so I overcomplicated that part.
Back to the workbench, fast! Knockout!
Okay, I have no idea what the Hand of God is. Can I pack a punch with a Tesla gun?
If I'm reading this right, it looks like I need to route a lightning strike. I think the God help me! Man, this thing has some punch!
Now I'm gonna need more armor. Okay, so just bear with me here while I do all this, because it's been forever. Okay, so I gotta go back to the command room where I was just at. Activate something. Then go and find a bunch of switches.
Change the switches to match these colors.
Okay, so I gotta find 4 fuses within like 2 minutes. Okay, so I gotta go back over there. Find those colors real quick. Apparently this portion of the Easter egg can be very tedious.
Get this one. Where's the next? Damn. Have to reset the circuit test.
Second one needs to be red.
I need to connect the circuit here. Damn. Have to reset the circuit test.
This is gonna be much harder. Maybe not, actually.
Knocked out.
Green, red, blue, green.
Get off the machine.
Walkway isn't supposed to be here.
Both machines. Damn it. The big one can move. Knocked out.
Damn.
They're off. We did it.
Right as I finished, too. Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna end that right here because I don't see myself getting that far again. But, I mean, yeah, Call of Duty World War II is by far one of the most underrated COD games I think I've ever played. And genuinely, it's one of my favorites. I think there's a lot that went good, but there was also some that was pretty bad about it. But all in all, I liked the game. I think it was really fun, and I'm so glad to see it having a resurgence. Thank you for anybody who tuned in. I'll see you in the next one.